with what might have been the most shocking pick at the end of the first round. The New England Patriots selected Cole Strange, Chattanooga interior offensive lineman, to step up for them this upcoming season. Now, me as a former FCS guy, I love the Cole Strange pick, and having the chance to have spoken to Cole Strange seems like a great kid, but really odd for him to go here at the end of the first round. Here to talk about the pick, Chris Price, host of the Patriots Report podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. Chris, how are we feeling about this pick? It was completely out of nowhere.
We thought that they were going to go after an interior offensive lineman. Came on the Believe mock draft last week and said that they wanted to go after Zion Johnson. I have to believe Zion Johnson goes off the board at, I believe, number 17. And then they think, okay, well, who's the best interior offensive lineman available out there? They end up trading back. They go to number 29, and they take Cole Strange. A couple of things at play here when you talk about Strange. They need interior offensive line help. They need help at a guard position. This was a clear area where they were lacking last year. They lost Shaq Mason. They lost Joe Thuney there a couple of years ago. They lost Ted Karras, kind of an all-purpose guy along that interior as well. They needed some help there. The belief, if everything works out according to plan, is that Strange is one of those guys who could come in day one, take over that guard position, and help protect Mac Jones.
Ryan, talking on Cole Strange as a draft prospect, we know this is a strong kid, has some development that he needs to do, does not have a lot of experience against big programs like some of these other guys do. But how would you describe Cole Strange as a prospect?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we did our interior offensive line show, I had him ranked as my fifth interior offensive lineman. I'm a big fan of Cole Strange. I thought that he was impossible to get out of the second round. I did not think, however, that he was going to go in the first round. But to the credit of Cole Strange, I mean, he parlayed a great performance against the University of Kentucky this year into a great Senior Bowl where I watched him. Every rep that he lost, I felt like he came back and he got better. He got better each and every rep. So I like him for a lot of things, man. He's a 6'5+ kid with decent length on the interior, good athlete overall, has a really good body where I think he could put on another 15 to 20 pounds if he sees fit as well. But he is a physical presence. Although he may be a reach here in the first round, he is going to be an early starter for the New England Patriots. They're going to be happy with what they have because he just kind of hits so many thresholds, so many marks. He's kind of a guy that I think you're just going to kind of forget about because he's not a flashy guy in any sense, but he's a tone setter. And I think that's what the New England Patriots were looking for on the interior on this pick.
Two things. I'd love to get your take on this as well. First of all, he does display some positional versatility. They absolutely love that in Foxborough, sometimes even more than ability. The other thing, too, and I think it's interesting, I talked about this with Connor Orr on a recent edition of the Patriots Report. I think the Patriots are going to be more inclined to go after offensive linemen early as opposed to middle rounds and late rounds now that Dante Scarnecchia is not there, not conceivably, at least theoretically there to coach him up. Look, we all know Joe Thuney was great. We all know Shaq Mason was great. But Dante Scarnecchia is the kind of guy who can get an offensive lineman from here to here. I think that they're going to be looking for more of those type of guys early on now as opposed to maybe later in the draft.
Yeah, Chris, I think for me, the thing that impressed me most with Cole Strange is he had started every game in his career at Chattanooga at guard, and then he goes to the Senior Bowl, and he looks pretty natural at center, man. I'm like, this kid's a different cat. You know, he kind of reminds me of the Quentin Miners kid that came out of Wisconsin Whitewater last year where he can play guard, play some center. I agree with you. I think the versatility is huge for a guy like Cole Strange, and he's a guy that just did not get the publicity, obviously coming from an FCS program in Chattanooga, but I think he's a really good football player. I actually think he kind of plays a little bit like Joe Thuney, so I think it's kind of an interesting comparison. I think it's a really interesting fit for Cole Strange.
Folks, if you need some more insight on the Patriots pick, be sure to check out the Patriots Report podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, hosted by Chris Price.